Mod Ash.
Hello.
And myself, Mod Archie.
And Anti-Santa.
And
Anti-Santa, yes.
And also
a crying child.
Just one crying child.
Yeah.
We've also got Ronan on one of the PCs there. He's going to be spawning some stuff for you guys towards the end of the stream. We're going to say the last 20 minutes or so, so load up a client if you haven't already. You're going to want to hop on that. Let's get into the questions then. First question. Jaws asks, can you reduce the Dead Man worlds once again to make them even more populated?
After Christmas now, I think. We'll see how it all goes for the next few weeks. Then after Christmas, I think we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
Basically, because Phil ain't about next week, so I wouldn't want to do it without him. But yeah, after Christmas, we'll look at it again.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think it's a tricky one, really. You have to kind of find the sweet spot between helping clans by making everybody just kind of have to play in the same worlds, and helping skillers by letting them stay and hide in the backgrounds of the less populated worlds.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's what we aim to sort of aim around 500 people per world.
Yeah.
Seems like quite a nice figure. So, but yeah, we'll look after Christmas to sort it out.
All right.
Ain't no problem.
Nia asks, can we see more canoe stations and balloon travel in Zaya? Those are pretty cool.
Could.
At the moment, there isn't a suitable river in Zaya
yes.
to take canoes up and down. In fact, I don't think there's a river in Zaya that
There's
you'd actually want to sit on.
Well, there's two rivers, aren't there? But there's not one you'd really want to put a boat in. So
That would
Maybe.
be pretty intense.
Yeah.
Canoeing on a river of blood.
yes.
We had this idea. I swear we had an idea about like a metal dragon's carcass. You could use that as a... Was that not last week?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was
that
last week's. Yeah, yeah.
That would work. All right.
So as for balloon travel, that's some scary code. I'm sure we could do it.
Yes.
Although I suspect we'll find other ways of getting around it.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
For what it's worth, we're not keen to load there right up with teleports straight away, because we'd still like there to be some exploration, at least at first, until you unlock ways of getting around more conveniently.
Indeed.
Rather than just saying, okay, you zip to all these places and the geography matters not.
Yes, indeed.
I'm sure there'll end up being rivers on the full continent outside of Koren. So
Yeah, I mean the first update's going to be the new city. So you've got a new city to start with, and it's you counted the map squares, didn't you? How many map squares
The
content?
base is 53.
53 map squares of
For comparison, I think Barrack is 10.
yes, so it's pretty big. Yeah, so that's going to be the first batch, then the next batch you'll get 6 months later, and the next batch after that 6 months later, and then you'll have the full continent from there, which will have things in it such as rivers and probably balloons if you really want balloons.
The thing about a river is it looks rather good on the map, so when we draw a map of the place, it makes the place look more interesting than just a picture of a transportation icon where there might have been a balloon.
Yes, indeed, indeed. So there we go.
Okay. Tickle asks, when will we see that Dragon Square shields acting as anti-fire shields update happen?
it would have to be
Yeah.
pulled.
Well, we didn't exactly pull anything since the last stream when the idea was sent in.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And we do have rather a lot on at the moment, so I'm not really rushing to drop everything and get that one in the game urgently.
Yeah, we'll do a poll early next year, and then we'll probably talk in 3-4 weeks after that. That's if it goes into that poll, if there aren't better things to poll, and if it passes the poll, of course. So you're talking February earliest, I would expect.
It did well in the straw poll, and
It's a good idea.
Yeah,
it
I'd
was
like
like
to
one
see
of
it.
those random. This is actually going to take a lot more time than you think.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic it won't.
Okay, that's cool. All right, next question then. There's actually an image for this one from Chief Iron. He has a suggestion actually. Serpentine, mutagen, and ability to use on blowpipes. This has obviously come up a couple of times now.
Yes.
Said it sounds nice, but we don't want to create any new items that might not be as easily recognized. I think the blowpipe's quite individual in that. Like,
It's got a distinctive shape.
yeah,
Like I said last time this came, if you start making multiple variants of these things, there ends up being a lot more code for it because there's so many things you can use items on to charge them, uncharge them, and that means it's not just a matter of a quick paint job for the art team, it's also potentially half a day's programming as well.
yeah.
And of all the things we could spend half a day on, making a recoloured version of something they've already got just isn't really selling it for us. Now, cosmetic things that don't involve a whole lot of code as well, quite safe updates. This one, you get it wrong, it just eats your blowpipe or something, like the last bug we had with it.
Yeah.
And I could really do without the risk of creating some more of these just now.
I suppose they could do something different depending on the mutagens, but I think last time we ran into the problem with the
that's
helmet
dangerous.
is we couldn't decide what.
Yeah.
So
course, we could put together a whole bunch of these cosmetic things that people were quite keen on, like these Slayer helms, you know, helms that you get out of creatures' heads.
Yeah.
They put on yours.
Yeah.
Really popular on Reddit, and I would love to see that. So we could put together a whole selection of these things and have a cosmetic updates poll early next year.
Put them in a shop.
There's also the
Sell them for coins.
Or that's
yeah, you've kind of ruined it.
Buy a bond, get a cosmetic item.
There's also
Joking, by the way, joking.
the graceful outfits. There's a couple others as well, but I did like the Slayer helm one the most. Someone said actually something I didn't notice about it. It'd be an item sink, wouldn't it? Because you can't remove the mutagen. Right? So it'd be essentially making those blowpipes untradeable, which would
No,
help.
you can get
I
your.
thought you could remove the mutagen.
Can
it
you
just
remove
didn't-
them?
Yeah, you just lose the.
You use the mutagen. Okay.
Yeah.
Not
All
the
right.
helmet.
See, you can. You just don't want to.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Next question then. Calf asks, was Zaya coming along with all the new items it'll bring? We haven't told them they're just going to bring a ton of new items, but will we get more bank space to compensate?
No.
I think they're expecting like hundreds of new items.
A lot of the stuff on Zaya is designed so that you don't generally need to hoard lots and lots of different types of items. There will be a few more things you might want to keep in your bank, but for example, there's a place where you plant special seeds and grow them in a different way to usual, but you don't take the seeds away with you and you don't take the fruit away with you. You deposit it in the area and there's no impact on your bank at all. So quite a lot of Zaya is a bit like that. We're not anticipating people finding they need another 100 bank slots for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We've already had to take the save game size up this week.
Yeah, we did hit that limit, yes.
To get like 3 variables together with Christmas into the Zaya stream tipped us over the edge.
Yeah. It's surprising how few new variables there are for Zaya at the moment.
It's true.
I think we're very generous with the bank space actually.
Yeah.
As well. So
We've come a long way since 2007's bank space anyway.
That's true.
yeah.
More than double.
That's true.
All right. This next question I like, so I'm going to look for a bunch of yeses. All right.
Oh, well.
Pressure's
Right.
on. Pressure's
Okay.
on.
Can we get a God Wars Dungeon Agility Arena? Perhaps so that we could watch people bossing while training agility.
That's quite a nice idea.
It's a cool
Cool.
concept.
Yeah.
There isn't exactly like a ceiling that you can just run around, at least at the moment.
But there could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of mapping job there.
You could run from like Armadillo to Sarah and
That's an interesting one because Saradomin's like 2 vertical levels down
Yeah.
from all the other ones.
Have a big sliding pipe in it that just takes you down the level.
slide. Climb back up.
Zip line.
If you fall during one of the obstacles, you fall into the boss pit.
Oh.
Ooh.
What were we talking about? I was talking to, I can't remember who it was. It was probably you I was talking to about. No, it was Gareth talking to Stepping Stones over the River of Blood.
Yeah.
Sort of a shortcut to the Blood Altar. And if you had Stepping Stones, you fall off it, it eats up all your rune essence.
Oh. I was just thinking that if a player with low agility could therefore skip the kill count
I was just thinking.
by riding this zip line
Yeah.
thing and failing in it so as to land in the boss room.
We'll
Half
see.
dead, but in there.
Unless we had a requirement.
We might just a bit.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Is the highest agility cost 90?
Is that a plausible idea then?
It is.
Or
We
is
can
it
find a
just-
gap for it. We've got a lot of agility courses.
Yeah, RuneScape is not short of agility courses, which is why we haven't offered a new one on Zaya at the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
Although that'd be amazing as
We've been
well.
asking for the buff to the Brimhaven one. We could try to. No.
Yeah, that doesn't stack so well with
Yeah.
doing this one elsewhere.
I tried. Okay.
But we've all said yes in different ways.
Yes, yeah. Thanks, I like the idea.
In the background minds.
Maybe we could
That
do.
sounds like the best thing, doesn't it? Just like doing agility, it's like, all right, click here. 4,000 times later, click here again. But if you can
That's
watch
RuneScape.
somebody
Yeah,
die,
that is RuneScape, quite frankly.
but if you can watch somebody die to a boss or get a kill, you know,
Watching stuff
that
happen
sounds
while
nice.
you're doing agility would be very much nicer than not.
Yeah.
For that matter, agility courses, a lot of them, you keep changing vertical levels, so even if there's other players in there with you, you can't chat to them very easily, because half the time they're on a different vertical level and you can't see the chat. So it'd be very nice to design one where you are on the same vertical level, so you can see other people in the boss room and see other people doing the course, and feel a bit less like people are popping in and out of existence all around you while you train. There's a reason the Relica one tries not to change your vertical level more than strictly necessary.
It's going to be a lot more interesting than having gnomes tell me that my grandma would do it faster than me.
Debatable.
I'll never meet your grandma.
Indy asks, can we please get some sort of fix on the music cape in random event music? I've gotten a couple 99s now, but still haven't gotten the pinball random event.
So when he says fix, he means just make it easy to get.
Yes.
Stay out of banks.
So his idea was the pinball one. I think he was saying was fishing related. Right?
No.
Well,
That
it's
might be
got
the problem.
It's got the trolls that you can get.
The
that
trolls
do come
appear
through.
and follow you.
Yeah.
It is not, however, related to how much fishing you're doing.
No, but that's his idea. He's saying
Ah.
perhaps doing one skill, so there'd be like what the shoot. What's the Lederhosen?
Yes. Yeah.
That
Freaking
freaky
wood
wood
forester,
cutting.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
I think it'd be easier if you
I'm
want to
done
do
trying.
them. We'll stick an NPC down there, which you can say, "I would like to go and visit this random event," and it will move you to give you that random event.
Oh, that would certainly let people go see where Anti-Santa is these
Yeah.
days.
Absolutely. I mean, that would probably be the easiest way of doing it, rather than waiting for them.
Waiting and hoping you get the right
Yes.
random event.
Then you can get all the collections done.
Yeah, it does
Of
sound
course, if the
painful.
players want to do it, it's a lot easier than hoping for it. Then that takes the fun away from hoping you're going to get it. So
Takes the RNG away.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
I think we spoke about that at one point, didn't we? Sort of crossed our ideas a few years ago now about just giving them the ability to do it, retiring them into a home, wasn't it?
I remember spending ages trying to get the drill demon one to unlock corporal punishment.
Yeah. In fact, we've even got the helper, haven't we, which gives us any random event we want on our JMods.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Not
So-
that we
Not
normally
helping this
need
guy's
that
question.
kind of thing.
Yeah, not anymore. No.
Okay. Zombie asks, could we also get a toggle to show our virtual levels?
Game.
I don't mind doing that.
As long as they don't expect it to show to everyone else necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Should we stroke roll it? What do people actually think about that idea?
Is it doable with Old School?
Well, the stats interface just shows stats up to 99 and your stat boosts.
Yep.
That can show any number we jolly well please. It's not, however, if the thing's meant to show elsewhere, like outside the game on the website skill total, then no, that's not so feasible and also a heck of a lot more controversial. But if
Okay.
the players just want to see a number that isn't 99 at the bottom on their own stats interface, I've got no problem with showing them a different number.
Yeah. Virtual levels have always been a thing. How long do you reckon it'd take you? 'Cause I know it took Fred quite a while.
The toggle would actually be the tricky bit. Also, I think in RS3 they wanted to have individual toggles, didn't they?
I honestly don't know.
No, I think it's
They-
a whole. It's just one.
Well, in that case, just changing what the tooltip shows on one toggle, I don't see a problem there.
Let's drop pull it. Let's drop pull that.
We should
Would you
take it to
like
1
see
to
virtual
6.
levels.
Initially, it
So-
doesn't look too popular, but we'll see.
Most
And
of
that's
the
going to get a bunch
metadata
of
we
no's,
put in,
but just the sake of drop pulls.
most of the data we put in for doing it is in there in the XP droplets already for people who want to use a virtual level as their target.
Yep.
So I'd just be making the tooltips read it.
So for those unaware, virtual levels are essentially if you have, say, 40 mil XP, instead of it being 99, it would be like 105 or something.
40 mils, 111.
It's a funny thing to want in
A bit
in
more
an
than
old school
99.
game.
It would only show us that. It would be purely cosmetic.
And like 200 mil XP is level 126.
Yeah. So let's drop on the chat for you guys. Move on to the next question then. Tild asks, oh man, I'm actually going to save this question. We'll go to the results of the straw poll first. I like this one.
Got me excited.
That's some good questions this week. I'm happy about it. Yeah.
Tension.
Just waiting on the results from that straw poll there.
Let's move on.
Pretty controversial.
Yep.
About what you should expect, 62% or so.
Oh, that saves us another toggle in the game.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
How are you ever going to get togglescape if you don't want things?
All right, so I'm expecting some more yeses. Can you choose to annoy players as punishments for breaking the rules?
Annoy players.
All right, so hold on. He's got a few examples here. So randomly stunning them for 5 seconds when they're bossing. When trading other players, items appear as coal. When talking, their words show up as gibberish, and removing their run energy.
I look forward to trading somebody a whole load of copper ore and it showing up as coal.
It's not a real question.
Guess we
Come on.
could, but we're not going to. So
We could remove the run energy. I think that's probably the cruelest thing you can do.
I think we had- the only
break the
thing that
rules.
I would do to change in-game activities based on offences is if you get caught item scamming, you can't trade. That's something I'd like to do. But
Instantly Iron Man.
yeah, instantly Iron Man. But that's I can't think of too many other things. I mean, we've got the in-game mute, which we use. We've got, otherwise we just ban people. But yeah, I think the only thing I'd seriously use it for would be get caught item scamming, and we'll block your trades. Would make sense.
I'd
Other
like
than
to
that,
do that.
And not unfeasible either. We've got some stuff we can tie into to make that happen.
Yeah, or the Iron Man code.
It's also used for newbie accounts.
Of course.
yeah.
With the trade screens updates that not too recent, I don't think item scamming is a very big problem right now. Not enough people trying that.
No, it's,
I haven't seen the
it's
data, of course.
yeah. I mean, I suppose if you can catch people doing things such as gambling, you can stop them using the letter E or something.
Remove the space bar.
A lot of the scams we hear about these days aren't so much about messing with the trade screen or even trading the usual way. It's more like, come to this really isolated place, it's got to be a specific place, and then drop valuable items on the floor for me, because something good will happen.
Yes.
And there's a limit to how much help we can give you if you're going to fall for that.
Indeed.
True.
Indeed.
Okay. Livey2 asks, with the new attack options, are we able to have the same people? Are we able to have the people in the same clan chat as us default to walk here on left click? So by this, I imagine he means something similar to the team cape effect for anybody that's in your clan chat.
That won't be easy.
Engine job. We could add it to the somewhat infinite list of things we've got from the engine team,
Yeah.
but that's not going to get the other things people want from the engine team any sooner. Like, I'd really like to see the scalable interfaces job finished and releasable.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
You ready for a step above that? Someone else said, even better would be able to be to disable being able to cast multi-spells, like Barrage, for example, on people in your clan, and they'd only hit people in the opposite team.
Oh, that would take away a whole lot of skill from clan PKing, surely.
I think it probably would.
Yeah.
It would make it easy.
It would make it way too easy.
Yeah.
It sounds OP.
The first idea, I'm okay with.
I think in other RuneScape we actually did something of the sort in minigames like Castle Wars, Clan Wars. We made those spells automatically ignore people on your team. I don't think we tried to do it in the wilderness for people in chat channels though.
No.
Oddly enough, there's no command in RuneScript for is this player in the same chat channel as me. To find out, you have to look through everybody in that chat channel to see if the other player turns up in the list. It's very inefficient trying to write Clan Wars.
Yes.
All right. Fox asks, can Zaya bring a better use for the Circle or buff for it?
I think we've tried that several times, haven't we?
I think it's time to let go with the Circle.
Just let go.
Just let go. Swept under the carpet.
I mean, we've tried several times to come up with solutions for it, and they never passed, have they?
I don't think the solutions we pitched before would be more popular because they were on Zaya.
Indeed.
A lot of the recent ideas are influenced by Deadman as well. But you need to account for what that means for the rest of the game, and where it's used. Again, if you have any good ideas, suggestions, by all means, pitch them.
Absolutely. Love to hear them.
Yeah. Next question. Olaf, can you do anything about the price of Zulra's teleports increasing? So currently they've just skyrocketed to like towards 10k-ish.
There's still a huge amount in the game.
Yeah.
But I think paying 10k for one trip to Zora, given how rewarding it is still negligible.
Yeah. And there's also the fairy rings, of course.
The fairy ring's just right there. I mean, it's not that much more convenient.
If you want the convenience, you're going to have to pay for it.
I can't tell if they're going to crash back down or not.
It's doing exactly what we wanted it to do, really. We wanted it to be, when you get that as a drop, it's a nice little boost, one easy trip back sort of thing.
Yeah.
At the rate you were getting them originally, at 20 a kill.
Well, you'd never get through them that fast.
Yeah, it was literally impossible to go through them. So you were getting them at such a high rate. Was it like 1 in 10 or something?
Something of that sort.
Yeah.
1 in 8, maybe.
Well, you roll that thing twice, so it ended up being pretty common that you'd get at least some, and you always ended up with more than you needed to come back again.
So I'm not concerned about it, but we're keeping an eye on the price. And
if we ever wanted to have an absolute upper cap, then we'd introduce an NPC who sells them for, 15k, and then they would never be able to go above that because people would know they could get it off the NPC at that price. but that removes the entire point of ever going to Zolandra any other way.
That would make it convenient for Iron Men.
It would be convenient for Iron Man.
Whereas, like, originally when we did the nerf, there was well over 20 million of them just sat in people's banks. So,
Poor people that sold them for like 1k each.
it was certainly called for.
Yeah, there's a reason we made a point of not announcing up front exactly when that was going to take place. Anyone who had them had it by their own luck, foresight, and preparation, not through us.
All right, next question then. Conzors asks, do you think Deadman has a negative effect on PKing in normal Old School? Speaking from experience, Edge feels about the same as when before Deadman, because I was PKing
no one said it, which makes me think, I've not seen anyone say it, which makes me think it hasn't.
I play both.
If that were going to be the case, it would have been pretty obvious that PvP was, dead at the end of October in the normal game, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not a problem now.
No.
Obviously, we're careful about launching lots of new PvP things. Like, there's a reason we've said no wilderness on Zaya, and we haven't, added 5 different varieties of PvP world, because that's just asking for trouble. But Deadman mode does not appear to have been a problem for us.
No.
Okay. Tebow asks, when do you think we'll be able to imbue more items in Deadman?
What?
Imbue more items, as in,
Yeah.
in what way imbue them?
I imagine this is looking for an easier way to get the Slayer Helm imbue, but I don't know how long that takes.
It's
Nightmare Zone.
a matter of hours.
There's what's the one from, there's like the Magic Shortbow imbue, Bounty Hunter Shop.
Oh, that,
as well as
isn't
the,
available in Deadman Worlds.
We could do something with the wilderness bosses on Deadman Worlds to help you upgrade emblems, but make you be in the wilderness to do this activity.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Be nice.
I mean, at the moment, we're not planning to make any updates to Deadman until, March next year anyway, so we could do bits and bobs maybe, but I think we need to focus on other stuff, certainly for the first quarter of next year.
Sure.
So I wouldn't certainly expect anything until end of March, the earliest I wouldn't expect.
All right. Dwisser asks, can buying items from the Grand Exchange take money from our bank so we don't have to have it in our inventory?
It's not a very long way from the Grand Exchange to a bank.
In fact, you probably don't have to walk to do it.
You don't. Right, that's a good answer. I'll take it. Next question. That poor guy. Chaos Tamir, can we have the ability to tell whose Deadman key we have? An example for this would be examining the key would tell you, you got this from this player. Or perhaps when looting the key.
Can't do dynamic examine text on objects. If the key were associated with a variable that remembered the UID of whoever it was you killed and they were still online at the time, then we could find them and get their name off of them. However, players who log out get a new UID when they log in again, so it wouldn't match.
And the amount of people
Remember us
who reach
discussing
for
it
that
in
to die.
Permuid?
Yes, it was something we said would be very handy for a whole bunch of things.
But we never actually did.
Well, because first we'd need the engine to be rewritten to support 64-bit local variables.
That was it. Yeah.
That was quite a big job when it was done for the other RuneScape. It's not something we're likely to get in the immediate future. Certainly not for the sake of being able to put a nice examine on some keys.
Yes, indeed.
Now, we would like it, though, because, well, there's any number of things we've written, like the target system, which we feel we could have written better if we had this.
Yeah.
We got it in other RuneScape, in fact, when they did a gravestone update in about 2001. Because they wanted to be able to, well, remember your grave over logout more effectively. Something that we wouldn't be able to do if we did produce gravestones, which the jury's still well out on. But that's the kind of thing we used it for, and I would like it. I just don't need it immediately.
Okay. Another reminder, guys. We're going to be switching over to Ronan, who's going to be spawning some holiday items for you guys. About I don't know, let's say 10 minutes from now. Ish? What world? 350. 350. Should we save the location? Do you want to already?
Just go for it.
Alright, it's what is it? East Falador?
Yeah.
Alright, East Falador, world 350, if you guys want to hop on, get some rares. We'll show you guys that screen momentarily once it gets a bit more crowded. Next question then. End of the Dream asks, could the left click option on pets be changed to walk here?
Engine job, same as last time they asked. I've got no problem with it being done as an engine job. In fact, it's on the engine team wish list, below various other things that the players have also asked for.
All right, fair enough. Tilde asks, if and when you add new monsters to Zaya, please don't make them in packs, like all being in the same area like the Slayer Cave. Instead, have them, he's kind of asking like they have a purpose for being there, so they match with the environment setting. That makes sense?
I think when, I mean, you're not going to see an awful lot of monsters in the our initial launch. I think we've got some lizard men coming, and I think that's about it for monsters.
Yeah.
But once the bigger continent comes out, and Gareth and Alfie are both very much making sure everything looks like it should be where it is, and there's a reason for it. So I would imagine you'll see plenty of that going on.
For what it's worth, the monsters that Matt mentioned, they do have a reason for being there. They're an invasion force.
So there'll be packs of them. I'm afraid.
Well, the thing is also, if you're trying to kill monsters and they're sparsely spread out all over the place, then that's really quite inconvenient for you. It's like doing Slayer on Jungle Horrors, for example. So a lot of these things are bunched together for your convenience, not just because we couldn't be bothered to move the mouse very far between spawning them.
Yes.
But we do get that it's good to have monsters that look like they're in there for a reason, and it's not just like, here's a cave, this bit's got these lizards in.
All right.
Yeah.
There's also some appreciation in there for Jed's, sorry, I was going to say Halloween event, Christmas event.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
A lot of positive feedback from that. We don't have any numbers for that.
Lots of people have played it.
Lots of people.
No data.
No data. The graph went like that. It went, There you go.
It's a really good event.
Yeah.
Really good event. Next question then. Nerf asks, where he says, apparently Callisto is still safe spottable.
Send us a bug report.
Yeah. He was asking if you can change it so that if it isn't fighting back, can it teleport back to its spawn point?
Callisto currently gets stuck on the lava quite easily, so even if it's trying to retreat rather than fighting back, it'll often get stuck on scenery while doing so. It'll think it's retreating, but it won't be going anywhere because it's stuck on a tree or stuck on the corner of a lava lake. Now, if we've tried to give NPCs better route finding so it could navigate away, the flip side is that NPCs would have better route finding so that every time you do safe spot them, like the way you do for a lot of creatures, they'll just walk right around the fence or whatever and
Sounds bad.
Oh, that's, yeah.
there's a reason that RuneScape's never had this update, even though RS3 could have had it years ago.
And completely destroy the fight games.
Heck, we could have it now, we're just not going to.
Yeah.
Like that picture that's does so well on the internet of a guard standing there over a fence.
Yeah.
He could step one tile to the side and walk around the fence, and he doesn't. If we teach NPCs to retreat more effectively, they will also get this behaviour.
That would make for a very difficult fight, Caves. Think of that.
Well, the player's
That'd be fun.
suggestion of having the NPC teleport back to its spawn point is entirely feasible, it's just not very nice.
Okay.
I think the
Sure,
wilderness bosses, there's always going to be some safe spots for them, ultimately.
And in the case of Callisto and Vetian, we've not been too worried about it, because, take Vetian, that thing's hard. If we made it impossible to safe spot Vetian, we'd have to find some other way of making it nicer to kill Vetian.
The safe spots end up being sort of the mechanics of the way you deal with them.
And for Vetian, I can live with that. Callisto, I wouldn't mind if it were a bit harder, at least if the typical lures didn't work as easy as they do. But you're still in the wilderness, you're still attackable, especially if Callisto isn't actually hitting you. So it's not as it's a safe spot insofar as you're in like level 50 wilderness.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay. Next question then. Chemo asks, any news on when we might get to see the construction updates shown at RuneFest?
We were discussing maybe getting one of the rooms done early next year, but we have to wait and see how things go with the constant launch.
We'd like to get onto that in the early part of 2016, definitely. But things we showed at RuneFest were things to be done over the course of the year, which is like between now and next October. Not necessarily things we hoped to do as soon as we got back to Cambridge, especially with Zaya being one of the things we expected to do, because that's quite a big one.
Fair enough. We're going to show Ronan's screen because it sounds like he's clicking faster than I can imagine right now.
Is he on RuneScape?
He's definitely doing something on RuneScape. We switch over to show his screen. There we go.
Oh, there's lots of people.
My God.
Few there,
So
few
if you've
around.
been missing out on the holiday tool spot, that's just mean.
Ronan.
Tool spotter.
Ronan.
Really?
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's what it does.
Who has the grapple shortcut?
Again, guys, this is World 350. If you don't know the location, tough.
If you don't know the location, what are you doing watching?
Yeah, they'll know that location.
Isn't that beautiful to see, eh?
It is good to see.
Back to the other side of the wall, Ronan.
North a bit. Keep going north.
Okay, we'll leave you to that.
I can't wait for those construction updates.
Back to the questions. We'll hop back over to Ronan before the end of the
It's going to
stream.
be rather difficult doing the one with the POH construction menu that I
Yeah.
described.
It would be
I'll
so
on that
good,
for a while,
though.
but I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got other devs these days, so you don't have to wait for weeks without updates while I'm doing that thing.
Next question then. Jaeger asks, can you reduce the high alch value of crystal shields as they protect over things like whips and zany spears, etc.?
Happy to. We do typically poll things like that, though.
Okay. There's also the crystal seeds. There was a question asking, Bodhi got a kill, and the crystal seed appeared before the 15 mil cash stack. I'm also a little curious. Is the crystal seed worth like 100 mil or something?
Can't imagine
you.
so.
No,
It's not, obviously. It's like 60k.
it reads GE value.
But
This has appeared before, as in it landed on the ground first.
no, sorry. Looting a key.
The
Oh,
banks aren't organised by value, are they?
Yeah, they do they not show the most valuable things at the top and escalate downwards?
Yeah, I've
Not
not heard that
100%
code.
sure, actually.
I didn't think so.
Okay.
I thought it just took in the order they were in the bank.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I haven't killed very many people with keys, so I can't really confirm this.
I've never gone in that code.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
the
can
answer.
find out.
Neither of
but
us are good enough
not
at
right
that
now.
now,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Have to look at that one then. That would be nice. It'd make sense, wouldn't it, to have the most valuable things at the top? Reasonable question. Okay. PKers asks, can halos be brighter? Which surprisingly had support.
We don't
brighter.
have an artist with us.
I would imagine
Not
that
in
if
the
it's a case of changing the model to make it brighter, I'm sure that's completely doable. Whether he wants it glowing or not, whether that's possible. I mean, they're clever guys, they can figure out a way of doing it without bloom effects and stuff, can't they?
Well, what they do when they normally want a glowing effect is like the dagger from the Legends quest. See, that's meant to be a dagger with a dark glow around it, so it's a dagger that's one colour with some semi-transparent polygons of a different colour around it, and you get a... Well, frankly, I thought it looked like a popsicle, but it's meant to look like a glowing dagger. And I kind of manipulated that model to turn it into the model of the Bone Crusher, which we've got.
Well, somebody say, let the halos act as a light source. That's kind of cool. Give them an actual use.
They're best in
Light.
slot.
Light source code is a thing I've heard
It's now
mentioned in
nice
the
and
past.
central.
You know.
Is it all sorted now?
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
that for the
I thought-
school.
Oh, nice one.
Kieran did that for the school keeps.
Kieran just
sorted.
volunteered to make that happen.
They'd have to pass a poll.
Yeah.
They are useful though. They are best in slot at one defense on the head.
For what? For
I can't
prayer
remember what
bonus or
stat. I think it's
something?
probably just prayer. But
Better than a miter.
they have 8 best in slot stat. I can't remember which one it is.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
It's one of the pures in the chat. Can let me know, or just tell me I'm wrong.
Max Main asks, can we have the ability to store plant cure in the tool leprechaun?
If we rearrange the interface to make space for it, yes.
I think you're getting sick of that code.
Not really. Adding the forthcoming watering can turned out to be literally one line. I really thought it'd be more than that, but apparently I made it very, very expandable when I did the rework a while back. So I know how to add plant cure to it quite easily. The only thing is that the main screen interface for the leprechauns, it's got 3 rows of 3 at the moment. The fourth, this new item would have to go somewhere, and either way it's going to make quite a difference to the layout of that interface. So if people are up for it, we can have it.
Seeing a lot of yes pleases. All right. Next question then. RB asks, when will we see a poll with proposed changes to the skill cape perks?
There's not going to be another poll until mid-January.
Yeah.
It's not too far away.
So the earliest, what, 3
Month?
Yeah, a month away, yeah.
Sure.
well, even if we polled it right now, we're not going to be able to deliver anything between now and January because we can't actually get the game rebooted at Christmas. And also Zaya coming at the beginning of January. So next time we poll things, maybe we'll get more stuff.
Okay. Halsha, can you increase the attack rate of the Torag's hammers? He's asking to bring them closer in comparison with the bludgeon.
Could do. He's polling. Straightforward thing to change.
I did like the suggestion of having it animated so you kind of hammer one at a time and therefore go at a faster rate than you would from just trying.
You can use it on bells. I don't have an instrument.
You kind of do already hit them, like, this one goes first, I think. But it's
well,
like,
it looks like it, but the code's doing nothing of the sort.
I've never seen anyone fight with 2 hammers, so I don't know quite how one would do it. So when I sort of think about, how an attack animation should work, I think, someone's holding a big double-handed sword, how does it work, like that. If someone's got an axe, how do they swing it? Completely different to how we do it in games, so it's probably not a good example. But no, because when you swing an axe, you do sort of a figure of 8 thing, big axe.
Never swung an axe.
Haven't you?
No. How is that weird?
I think that's the next jolly then, isn't it?
Matt's a lumberjack in his spare time.
A lumberjack doesn't cut.
Fake. Okay, I've chopped trees.
You're not thinking of a chainsaw, are you?
No, because I was watching something about Vikings and how they fought with their weapons, and they have their big axes, which are long-handed axes.
It's our weekly history lesson stuff.
Yeah, and they fight. They fight with it by creating a swinging motion with it. And they do that by doing sort of the figure of 8 thing, which I can't do very well. So that's how they sort of get that in front of it, and that's how you use an axe, you see. Rather than trying to clout somebody on the noggin with it, you do it like that.
I imagine somebody watching the stream muted is probably wondering what we're talking about.
I imagine anyone listening to us is probably wondering why we're talking about it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, there's something RuneScapey about axe animations.
Yes.
Back when, in Classic, when you were chopping wood, the message would be, you swing your axe at the tree, you slip and miss the tree. You swing your axe at the tree, you slip and miss the tree over and over again until you got lucky and got logs. But for RS2, at one point they animated you missing the tree. And since, of course, when you're wood cutting for a period of time and you keep rolling and not always getting logs every few cycles, you'd miss the tree all the time. So you just look like you're just at the tree non-stop. Like, I got wood this time, and then back to waving around like a complete lunatic. That's why they didn't release it like that.
Yes.
Reminds me of like trying to fire make and light a log that's like too difficult for you. Sometimes your character just gives up and just like stands back up, then restarts the whole animation.
Yeah.
Right. Off topic. Next question. Can clue scrolls be obtainable from all thieving chests and NPCs?
Game.
That's
Can be.
going to largely increase the availability of clue scrolls.
Depends on how rare we make them. Incredibly rare.
Thieving a thieving chest is not that dissimilar to, in fact it's slower than killing guards. So we're not necessarily talking elite ones.
Yeah, there is already a way of getting easy, medium, and hard without combat, not elite.
I still really like the idea of the skilling clue scrolls.
Yeah, that was a nice.
The
idea.
skill scrolls, whatever we call them.
I'd like to do another
update.
clue scroll expansion at some point because that was a really, really nice.
Yeah, and I
project.
think if we start looking at clue scrolls again, that may be something we can consider and sort of see if we could make it work in a good way, and then see what the players think about that.
And we do get the occasional requests for cosmetic items, just a thing that goes well with this other item.
Yeah.
Someone was asking me for a black hood, as it was in the pre-EOC days. He couldn't tell me which black hood, but it's the kind of time we could find out.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we need some more data before I can commit to that one.
Oh,
Indeed.
well.
Let's find some of that.
Yeah.
I've got some coming Christmas for me. Little box.
Box of data.
Box of data, yeah.
Is it here?
What is this?
There's data in there.
Ronan, are you still clicking?
According to
Spawns.
the chat, he's gone in the wilderness.
I'm waiting to be shown on the screen, so everyone flows to this location.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Should we show Ronan's screen then? World 350 still.
Yep.
Okay. I was really hoping you'd gone to the wilderness. Let me down.
Makes me laugh that party hats are still going for upwards of 50k each.
I know.
It's ridiculous. I must have spawned 100,000 earlier.
Yeah, we're spawning hundreds of thousands of these nearly every single day, And yet people are buying them for 50,000 GP.
I put 1,000 sets in the party chest.
Yep, here comes everybody.
Didn't take very long. Alrighty then, we get back to the questions.
Yep.
Head back over to run-in screen before the stream's over. Next question. If somebody asks just where is that? Oh my god. Sorry, next questions.
Keep banning them from the chat, please.
Elverin asks, when opening the client, there is a world chosen for the player on the login screen. Can that world be one of our favorite worlds instead of some random world?
You could actually edit which world is booted if you go into the config file where your client is installed. You just change the link that opens in the applet.
Sounds technical to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's actually quite straightforward. You just navigate to where it is. Right-click the dot,
Navigate.
whatever it is.
What?
Are we talking about sailing again?
So for this technically minded of us who press a button, the game starts playing, and that's as far as we dare go.
Whatever.
I'm so sorry for that player who did the home teleport and was on Lunas at the time and didn't end up where they wanted to be.
Oh dear. So I guess you could select your world as a favourite world, and it could save it to your client thing, I guess.
It could be done.
Yeah.
Probably it needs some work from engine.
That's
Yes.
technical man coming out there.
You see, my job mainly consists of, I want to do this, and then everybody's saying technical babble, and I sat in a meeting, yesterday, or day before, whenever it was, with one of the translation guys, Ian, and the head of tech, and I said, right, I want to do this, what do we need to do? And the head of tech turned to Ian and said, right, we need to do blah, 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 blah. They started talking about technical stuff. At the end of the meeting, it's like, right, so does everybody know what we need to do? And I was like, yes, okay, so you need to do this. You two need to do whatever you said it was you were going to do. And that was the end of the meeting. So I haven't got a clue what they were talking about.
Probably thingy
Stuff.
and stuff.
Thing and stuff and technical bits.
When you write your big book of management studies, put more in it than that.
Yeah. My big book will just say, get the right people to talk to each other, and then that's just the job. You don't have to understand what they're saying. As they do.
Ronan is spawning so many of those.
Oh,
You got your next location
Click,
sorted.
click, 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 click.
Wow.
Oh, you're still on the move.
Ooh, slightly more interesting place.
Is that world full yet?
Hey, that's the first time someone went to that hops patch.
I used to pickpocket there, but not for very long, and it was classic then.
Not quite full yet, John. 1.2k.
Fill it
That's
up.
World
World
350, guys. Have you got a final location in mind?
Oh,
Mayaditch.
I'm just wondering.
Ooh.
Alright. We've got some questions left.
Elven lands.
Pooper asks, can the home teleport you where your respawn point is?
But that's not home.
So let's see. Home teleport to Camelot area, home teleport to Fallow area, home teleport to Edgeville, which you can actually get on Ancients. These aren't exactly places where we mind people being able to get easily.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea at all, to be honest.
I would be.
Yeah.
It kind of changes like old school.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the.
There's no legitimate reason
There's no reason to.
to do it, really.
It seems logical, isn't it? Your home, you would respawn in your home, one would think anyway. So
POH.
POH, yeah. So you can have your home as your same as your respawn point. Seems to make sense.
Yeah.
And chat says lodestones, among other things.
Let's straw poll that.
Oh, can we straw poll?
Strap all lodestones.
Yeah, I
No.
think.
No.
No,
We
straw poll
will
this
never
idea
do
that's been said to
Okay.
us.
Would you like to teleport where your respawn point is?
There's no point straw polling loads.
It's a bit more
how that one would fit.
You wouldn't be able to choose which one you go to. It would teleport you to your actual respawn point.
Yes.
So you wouldn't get access to all three of them at the same time.
No, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see here. We're going to save these questions for after the straw poll because this guy's got so many. We're going to try to bang them out. He asked me like
What are we
20
banging out?
questions. No Long asks, will you remove the snow from Varrock, or could you simply remove it from the PvP worlds?
Not until the event's over, sorry.
In PvP worlds like Deadman worlds, they use the same mapping.
It's going in the first update of January.
Okay. So that's
Even
like
dead
the
men
first week of
celebrate Christmas.
January. What's that?
Even dead men celebrate Christmas. You can't escape the weather.
For what it's worth, since the next update is meant to be the first week of January, even if we decided we want to do it sooner, it's kind of staying there.
It's not like it's unfair. It's not like everybody else doesn't have that same disadvantage of visibility that you don't, or you have rather.
Kind of
Anyways,
split then.
would you like to be able to home teleport to your respawn point? I think if it was a toggle, it'd have a better possibility, but
Yeah.
Oh, that solves everything, that does.
52-48 in favour of no.
yeah, 51% is not going to pass anything.
Especially since 51% no.
Yes.
Shall we get into these then? We've
Oh,
got
go on
a
then.
bunch of bounty hunter questions from Risk It All. So the first one: could untradeable items drop as cash upon death to whoever kills you? This has obviously been asked before. We've said that we'd like to pull it. However, his idea is a bit different. So he says the amount of cash should be worth slightly more than the tradable counterpart of that piece of armor. For example, a fighter torso would drop 50k in comparison to like a rune plate body. I'm just thinking of the fire cape. I don't know what
Fire cape
counterpart to that would
value
be.
would be like 32k, so you'd be looking at
Okay.
probably around 50k again. It doesn't seem to be a whole lot of value in this.
It's
It also,
gonna bring in a
it
lot
also
of money
generates
into the
gold.
game. I'm not
Yeah.
so big on that idea. Just personally, what I prefer is your untradeable items would break, so your full void. You'd run back and pick up a broken full void set and then repair it.
Yeah.
Guy in Edgeville for X coins, and there you go. You're back to be king.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a whole lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's question one. Next question. When you die, could you run back to pick up? Oh, that was that question I just said.
If they're all as good as this, and now we've sorted.
Yeah, could a skip target button be implemented in Bounty Hunter?
Yep.
Next.
Next, could an item be added into the Bounty Hunter shop that prevents you from being assigned targets that are not within 5 wilderness levels of you?
I think if we were going to do that, we'd probably want to make it an actual global rule. Otherwise, it gets really confusing if you're restricted, but the person who's just been assigned you is not.
Yep, definitely.
So we could just say if the players are all right with that kind of change,
Absolutely.
you can only be assigned targets who are in the same end of the wilderness.
I've seen the occasional person get a target that's fighting an Edgeville, get a target in like 50 wilderness and then go on and take them on. But I think like
I think that's rare.
it's like 90% that
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. Could there be a minimum amount of occupied inventory slots and worn equipment slots to receive a target in Bounty Hunter?
They could, but it's very artificial and it's part of the game to sort of.
It would basically make looters wear junk armor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no value.
So what was it meant to achieve? Like you only get a target
So-
if you're carrying a lot of stuff.
So you wouldn't get a target that doesn't have anything. It is instead only walking around the wilderness naked for no reason.
76k it.
Well, suddenly my imagination's gone.
Or one item, for example, or trying to
right.
sell you a kill, or anything like that.
Can we see what the value of items they have are on them? Hang on. So use those words in a sentence to make sense.
That's a bit more of an interesting idea. Being able, or having a higher likelihood of being assigned a target with a similar risk value
We
of
could
yourself.
change that because we didn't have the GE when Bounty Hunter was written, so it's reading out value to assign you the correct skull. We could
Yeah.
change that to read GE value and then take that to actually give you a target in a similar range.
It'd be nice
But-
for risk fighting.
You are then limiting the amount of potential targets you have because you're already down by combat level. If
Right.
you want to add wilderness level to that as well, and then to value, you probably can get the same 3 targets over and over again.
You're also
That's
going to
true.
get a big rise in people carrying artificially valuable items around the wilderness
I
for no.
noticed that.
Yeah.
Also makes it much easier to be farmable.
Yeah.
If you bring a random amount like 64 mil, ask somebody else to, you're going to get him as a target.
I'll
Like,
just bring my orange chunks.
yeah, okay.
I would like to change the way the skulls are assigned though, to GE values, 'cause that's a good
Yes.
point.
Mm.
I think we'll just do that.
And I,
Cool.
I would like to get that poll out where we offered to do death drops based on it.
Yes.
A couple more questions, then we'll head back to running screen, guys. Don't worry. Could the NPCs in lower level wilderness, in the lower levels of wilderness in Bounty Hunter worlds be removed or made unaggressive?
We've discussed this a few times.
We even polled something like
Yeah.
about this before.
I believe we did pull that. But
We
this
got-
is asking for only in the Bounty Hunter world, not in all worlds.
Can we control NPCs on Metaplex?
In a very, very, very hacky ways. So I could probably make it happen.
That means yes.
Have faith. Is that going to take a priority of your time?
Well,
No.
it wouldn't happen before Zaya. And even if it tried to happen before Zaya, it wouldn't come out until Zaya.
Yeah.
All right, last question I'm going to ask here.
Also,
could
I don't see
players-
it passing a poll, but that's another matter.
Really? I don't know.
Every time we offer to do things that make the wilderness more convenient for people to attack each other, the people being attacked tend to be the ones voting no to it.
Fair. Yeah. PVMers versus PKers there. Could players who have each other assigned as bounty hunter targets have the ability to trade/show items, but not be able to accept the screen to prevent selling kills? Because currently you cannot trade your target. So if they say, I've got 500k cash, fight me, and they don't, which they never do.
Well, if we change the way the skulls are displayed to make it work on GE value, that should circumvent that
Yeah.
issue.
All right, cool. Good questions. Back to the normal question then. Box asks, can you explain how your farming level affects your crop yields?
Okay. Right. This only applies to those patches that give random yields. So a bush patch with 4 berries on it gives 4. A limpwort gives 3 roots. Nothing random about those. But your herbs, your allotments, your hops, if you can remember what those are for, they give random yields. And the way that works is to start you off with 3 lives. And as you dig, you get items, and it rolls against your farming level. You get the item. If you roll successfully, nothing happens. If you roll unsuccessfully, you lose a life. And you keep rolling and getting items until you roll unsuccessfully and lose a life. I can't do this. And if you roll unsuccessfully a 3rd time, you lose your last life and the patch resets. Now, compost, that starts you off with 4 lives. Super compost starts you off with 5 lives. And there is space in the infrastructure for some kind of
Uber compost.
Uber compost, yes. Nothing to do with taxis. To start off with 6 lives, or whatever we wanted to program in, really. So, higher farming level, you're more likely to roll successfully, which means you get more crops before you lose your 5 lives, or 3 lives, or whatever you had. That's how it works. The secateurs, they make you even less likely to roll unsuccessfully, and then diary rewards or skill cape rewards or whatever we put in.
And skill cape perk on
You don't
those
need to
sat
wield
with
that
it too.
shield, right? You don't need to wield it.
Correct.
That's correct.
So that's how yields work. In theory, if you roll successfully every time, you will get an infinite yield. However, it's a bit like, rolling a dice, standard dice, over and over again, and expecting to roll it infinite times before getting a 1. Eventually, you're probably going to get the 1, just as eventually your patch becomes empty. And that, by the way, is why we don't let you recompost it once you've started harvesting, because if you could recompost it, you could get yourself infinite lives.
That's very well explained.
Yeah, of all of the developers across the entire studio, I think only 2 are really credited with properly knowing farming, how it works. Obviously, other people know how it works, but they both work on the Old School team. That's Maz and Ash.
Mod Melee knows the farming system. She's over on RS3.
Some clappers in the chat. They appreciated that one. Had a knowledge bomb.
Yeah.
A couple more questions, then we'll finish off by showing off Ronan's screen, whatever he's got, wherever he is, rather. Merrick asks, is the Corporal Beast more likely to target players who deal more damage to it? I've always wondered this.
No.
So if you're in a circle, 6 guys, hit the zeros, 1 guy hits a 30, Corp turns to hit the guy that just hit the 30, that's just coincidence. Oh. Wow.
It's a nice idea, though, for if we could actually do that kind of thing, to start doing that kind of thing.
However, it would just...
People for years have thought this.
For masses, it would just kind of like be like, brew your stats down, make it look like you're doing damage, and then you just kind of hope he doesn't hit you.
I think that could be great fun for a future boss, but we ain't got one that like it at the moment, and we currently, I think, can't prioritise like that.
Okay. Good question.
Yeah, got some ideas now. Carry on.
Quaffle, will Zaya introduce new hunter areas?
Not initially.
No, maybe I'll do going forward, but not
Not
on
with the
launch.
first launch.
Not in Korean, yeah.
Although something Jed is writing for Korend for the first launch will be benefited by a decent hunter level, I believe.
Ooh,
Unless he's
what's that?
changed his mind since I last saw. It involved the sand, the beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
The thing.
the hunting thing.
Thingy.
Well,
It's not hunting related at all.
That's how
But
he was doing it last time I saw the code.
that makes
The
perfect
thing
sense.
that'll
That
help
does.
you do another thing later on.
Yes, that thing where you do that,
And you get your thing for your thing.
yeah, and then you put it on your thing, and
You attach it
you-
to your long
That's
thing.
your business.
yeah, and then when you stick your thing in the other thing, it will give you the other thing will bite it.
Why do you
So
guys
in
watch
summary,
this?
to sum up, stuff and things.
With hunter benefits,
Yes.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Right.
please.
Personal question here from Poby. What were all of your first ever 99s?
Never got one. Not once. Been playing since
We need to get you on.
11 years.
That's terrible.
Never got one.
Mine was Hunter.
Yeah.
All on red chin
Really?
jumpers in 2007.
That's fairly new. Newbie.
Mine would have been cooking in 2006.
Cooking is your first 99? Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
what a noob.
I had a rule that I wasn't going to train my higher skills until the lower ones were higher, and I'd got it so that my lowest skill was 68, probably rune crafting, but I wasn't letting myself train the higher ones until I'd got it higher, so I never got there.
That's a good rule. I would give up though. My first was magic.
I found a forum thread once where the players were comparing their standard deviations and trying to see who got the
Remember that,
lowest
yes.
standard deviation of their stats.
Remember that? Yeah.
Of course, these were probably slightly younger players, so they just learnt what a standard deviation was and how to calculate it. And they seemed to be quite excited by seeing who'd got the lowest, all the stats closest to being the same. I thought that was a rather nice idea.
It was really good when I made a new account.
Yeah. The
Love it.
statisticians
Yeah,
of
this was
graphics.
like 10 years ago. I got 99 mage. It was like followed by the next day was strength because I felt like an untrimmed cape was so ugly.
I'm sorry, but
Same.
the license plate you've just got, you don't actually have a 99.
No.
That's ridiculous.
No, well, I stopped playing when it all got easy, you see. So when things
What
started
year was
getting
that?
2006.
Um,
But no, I mean, I've got my main account has lots of 94 pluses in it, but I've never once got a 99.
You ran the max player forum.
I know, that's a lie as well.
99.
No, actually, no, I never did tell them I never got a 99.
phony.
We would have shredded you
You,
for that.
you made the maxed clan.
Yeah, I still am the leader of the Max Clan as well. Got lots of 99s on my JMod, multiple times. Takes about 10 minutes. I mean, I don't know what
I've
I'm
got
complaining about.
70 99s, you can have some on mine.
I've written a thing for setting your stats faster on the JMod these days.
Oh, have you? That's
It's a thing on the potato. You know, it sets all your stats.
yeah.
You used to have to type them all manually, set stats.
Oh, I
cooking,
think
set
you
stats,
made that
ranging.
faster.
No, could do.
But
Okay.
yeah, there we go.
We're gonna finish up heading back over to Ronin's screen then.
Just the phone.
Why not?
You're a big fat phone.
Still got an outro obviously, but let's see where he is now.
He's somewhere.
Yes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
go to the dig site.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, look.
Ah,
There is the.
I was really
The
park
Mars.
that's never being
Wilderness.
built.
Yeah. Well, if that does get built, you could probably sail it somewhere. I would imagine.
Yeah. that was the
Eastern
plan.
lands.
So if this group of players doesn't all have a full inventory yet, don't know what they've been doing.
Banking.
Yulin.
There you go. Any estimates as to how many he handed out this stream?
A couple of 100,000.
We should really run
That'd be nice to count
run
that,
something to say how many there are in game.
You should just install what pops
If we can.
to track the amount of clicks you do.
So you have it, guys. Ronan, you have a couple of streams over the holidays. Do you plan on doing any of these?
A bunch every Sunday at 5 p.m.
Every Sunday at 5
Every
p.m.
Wednesday at 9 p.m.
and every Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
There you go. That being said, we will conclude the last Q&A of 2015. That's exciting.
See you next year.
Aside from that, any final words?
Keep an eye out for the Santa alerts on Twitter from all of us.
Yep.
We'll be jumping in game and doing what Ronan's doing over the holidays.
Unfortunately, some of us do go on holidays.
Before we go, I suppose the question is, ideal Christmas present.
For
you.
who? For
You.
me.
If you could get any Christmas present, what would it be?
For me.
Yeah.
It's on the spot.
I know, I
A
know.
full
I don't have
full
a-
series of the One Punch Man manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ash.
A couple more staff for this team.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
I feel a bit
But just for
selfish
me.
now.
Well, you can have some too.
That's what too, yeah, absolutely.
that and a better sofa to sit on for the stream.
Better
You
sofa.
know
Yes.
what? I'm gonna go with that.
Yes.
Oh.
This thing, what is it?
It's just a box
It's-
with like felt wrapped around
It's
it.
hard.
Because we can see the old mod couch. It's sitting right there, the red couch, and I want that back.
Maz, ideal Christmas present.
Acorns.
Acorns. Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Queen of the Squirrels.
Ronan?
10 mil old school. So I can rebuild.
So poor. I'll give you that.
There we go. I don't know what I would have. What would I have? Yes, yes. I'd have more stuff, I think. But there we go.
What about new socks? That's
I
probably what your
do.
kids are going to get you anyway, because that's a,
Yeah,
that's always how this
I do.
works.
I have my Chewbacca socks on today, which are quite cool. But I do need new socks. I did
Fitting.
last night. I found my missing pink sock.
Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah. I did tweet one day that my pink sock went missing. I found it again under the bed. It's been a painful
The
few
tweet
months.
standards.
On the
Okay,
25th
guys.
of December, how many dads do you think are going to wake up and get socks with the days of the week on?
Yeah.
Porcelain that data.
Yeah.
That being said, we will conclude the last Q&A of 2015. Look forward to seeing you in the new year. First week of January is our first, second week of January is our first Q&A.
Well,
I'm not back
the
until,
first week.
actually I will be.
7th it'll be.
Thursday
Whatever
the
it is.
7th, sound
Okay.
about right.
When you next see us on this sofa, the continent will be out.
That's
Yep.
exciting.
Absolutely.
That's scary.
That is very
Look forward to Zaya.
Yeah, I've got some programming to do.
And aside from that, we will thank you for watching and we'll see you in the new year.
Yeah,
Have
so
a good
lovely
Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Merry Christmas.